Hello and welcome to the Jedi's Lighthouse. Today I wanted to talk with all of you about the energetic connection that we have with the people in our lives. Now, before you start going off on me about how this topic is related to the community, yes, there is a little bit of a relationship there with the Jedi community. However, I've been watching this recently with other people as well. The way I see it, the United States is at a breaking point. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say it's got something to do with the sun, which isn't out right now, frying everyone's brains. So let's get this underway, right? Close your eyes and imagine a few of your friends kind of off to the left of you in just like a little gaggle. Now, from those friends, each of them, imagine a blue thread extending from their heart chakra to your heart chakra. These threads represent the connection you have to the people around you. Now, obviously you have more threads, and we're going to get into a few of those too. But the ones that you have over here, they represent the strongest connections you have, your friendships, your bonds. So the strongest positive, I should say, connections. Now let's go a little bit further, and off to your right, start another group. Maybe it's not a big group, maybe it's just a person. But in that group, I want you to imagine someone or a group of people that you just really don't like. Now, just like with your friends in the blue lines, extend the same type of thread, but red this time from them. Moving to your front, think of the people that you might classify as your frenemies. It's not that you hate them, but you don't have any qualms spreading negativity about these people either. And you're friendly enough to be in their face and being like, oh yeah, you're a great person. But you go and you stab them back later on. So from them, let's get a yellow thread going. Now, you've got this picture in your head. To the left and to the right of you, these people, they know where they stand with you. They're pretty sure that they understand everything about how you're going to treat them. Though maybe the people on the right side will sometimes mistake your genuine concern for them as being sarcastic. It is what it is, and it's just a relationship that you built with them. Now, on the left, sometimes they might be completely oblivious when you're upset with them. It's the nature of the relationship. It's the people in the front, the yellow threads, that are the most susceptible to the energy you send out. The second most susceptible would be your red threads. But equally, this is true in the reverse. These same people, the red and the yellow threads, have the ability to reverse the flow and send it back to you. It's not a one-way street. And this isn't a closed system. It doesn't stop with you. All of those people connected to you are also connected to a webbing of other people in their own systems. And how they're affected by your energy output will further impact the people in their web. So, if you send out a wave of negativity to them, then the energy might outpour very well and turn into its own tidal pool. All right, you can open your eyes now. Think of it this way. Think of a time when you were very upset. How many people around you were impacted by your mood? For those of you that have widespread lives on the internet, you probably know that when you're upset, the distance between you and the people that see the way you interact online makes absolutely no difference. It doesn't have to be someone that's literally next door to you or right next to you. For example, if my husband was in Japan and I was here in South Carolina and he saw that something was impacting me enough that I was posting negativity all over the net, he might feel like he was helpless to help me in real time. It would affect him in its own ways, and it could affect the people around him equally. that's the emotional ties we have with everybody around us. Now, depending on who you are on the internet, your energy wave might be larger than ever. Look at Trump. There you go. Look at Trump. He speaks and suddenly there's a shift of ripe conditions for a Cat 5 hurricane. Yep. I kind of sounded country, I think, there. Oh, well, whatever. So, in the end, it doesn't matter who you are. You still impact the circle you have. Unless you decide some of those threads are completely cut off at the gate and others enter into kind of like a micro black hole at the appropriate times. Some of these frenemies and people you hate aren't worth the time in your life. They're not even worth putting up a gate and stopping them there. They're not worth having that little micro black hole that just kind of goes through and stops there. Just not worth it. And when it gets to a point where you don't have a real need to interact with them, you should cut them off. By this, I mean, don't come up with excuses why you want to keep them in your lives. Just cut them off. And I'm not even talking about just unfriending them or even blocking them from various social media platforms or any other electronic lines of communication that you have. I mean, literally cutting the thread. When you cut it, you make the decision to not care what happens with that person. If their energy reverberates back to you because someone in your system is linked, so like here's my friend over here, and they're linked to someone over here in my frenemy area, and then it just kind of comes back to me. Look, you got to close off the system right there. It has no impact on you. That's what cutting this thread would mean. You're not letting it impact you. You're just the island that happens to be in the ocean or in the river. Actually, I guess islands are more... No, you could say in the river. Or in the lake, wherever you want to put this island. It just comes onto shore and then it goes back out into the rest of the system because it's not going to bother you. So the problem with this is that it really takes a lot of commitment. And you have to do a lot to bring balance back into the system if you're going to be impacted by everybody that's over here, or even everybody that's over here who's using whatever information they get over from their frenemy state, or wherever it happens to originate from, to come back to you. A lot of the secondary problems, that chaos that needs to be restored to harmony in your circuit, are from the people that are still connected to you. Let's just throw in another group, right? Even the group behind you, we'll put them in purple threads. They may still be connected to one of the people over here, the person that you have cut off completely. And because they haven't cut ties, and not just them, your blue threads and maybe even your red threads, they're more than willing to fight on your behalf, or fight because they see problems and then it would get back to you. This cycle just causes people to fall from their commitment, and it's the people around them that cause it to get back involved. And you're just like, what the heck is going on? I just want everything to go away because I don't care, right? You've gotten to that point, but no one else around you has. So then you get back involved because now that somehow that energy is affecting your friends and hurting them, and how it goes. So how do we prevent this from happening, right? This is kind of probably where you've been wanting me to go for the last 10 minutes. Now you got it in your head, so let's go. In nature, the energy runs its course. When a force of nature decides to move, there's no stopping. We can mitigate the impact with, like throwing Jersey barriers out there, or levees and whatnot. We can mitigate it, but the energy is always going to find somewhere to go with the least resistance, and just continue until it dies. Fortunately, humans, have something These forces of nature don't. We have choice. We also have the ability to limit the strands, make the strands smaller and impact depending on who it's coming from, and just, kind of like take little strands out of the thread, so to speak. This really would have been a lot better if I had had actual strings to do this, but whatever, I'm running with it. So we're almost done. Anyway, so we can reduce the strength between us and other groups so that we can reduce the vibration, so to speak. And we can go to those people and we can talk to them. We can work with those people and help them see that the person we've cut ties with isn't going to matter to us anymore. They don't have to fight our battles. They don't have to work on resolving the problem. And if they did what I did, or if they did what you did to just cut that off, or even create a micro black hole, that's what I was calling it. Yes, a micro black hole, and just not let it go any further than them, and let the energy just kind of go into infinity, then finally the area can calm. It can start calming, because now things are just not doing anything anymore. Yes, that's right. Yep. Okay. Yes, I am reading from a script, okay? But I don't have my glasses on. I got to find where I am. Okay, so anyways, oh yeah. So here's the thing is there is no avenue for healing with a person if they're still connected to you. And that's kind of another thing here. When you cut someone off completely, it's not just about you. You're doing it out of a form of compassion towards them, because you recognize that you're hurting them just as much as the connection is hurting you. So by you just saying, no, I'm done, you're giving them an avenue to begin healing. And everybody else has to see that. If they're not helping calm down this vibration between everybody that's being hurt by this situation, they're not giving the person where the point started, the epicenter of the earthquake, so to speak, to heal. And they have to cut that off. Let them run their course and say whatever they're going to say. You and everybody around you needs to come to a point where you're just meditating and calming down and restoring the harmony that's your little piece of harmony real estate along this web. So if you think that, to keep going with this, if you think that using the people around you is just another way of getting back to them. So let's say that I cut the thread, right? And I go to one of my blue threads and I go off on a tangent about it so that they will go to that individual and yell and scream at them or whatever, right? That's not cutting the tie. Your string is still there. Your thread is still connected to them, because you haven't gotten to the point where it's just, they're not going to impact me anymore. So you can't even do that, right? Okay. I think I'm done with that analogy. And I'm already 13 minutes in. Hopefully I'll get this by 15. So hopefully I didn't lose you in my analogy. If I was any good at editing, I'd have given you a proper visual to go with this, and probably up my resolution or up my font on here. And this might have made a lot more sense. But I want you to really consider this concept I've given you. For some of you, this is just an analogy. But if you believe in the force and that this idea of a collective consciousness exists, then hopefully you can see this from that. This is a kind of an analogy of a creative way of explaining a microsystem within the collective consciousness. So as you go about your week, I want you to ask yourself what you can do to calm whatever has started in your own system. Whether it's in the Jedi community, whether it's at home with some crazy boyfriend that you don't need to be with, or girlfriend that you don't need to be with, That's actually where I originally started this analogy. It was like a long time ago with somebody who had a crazy girlfriend. But anyways, so whatever it is that you need to calm down, how are you going to do that? Do you need to cut someone out of your life? And if you're having difficulty with that, what do you need to do so you can cut them out of your life? And how can you start that plan today? Thank you for stopping by the Lighthouse. May the force be with you on your journeys.